Welcome to the Pork Sock Podcast, where we like to dabble in the darker side of life. Today's episode, Black-Eyed Children. What are black-eyed children? The black-eyed children are paranormal creatures that seem to resemble children, often between the ages of 6 and 16 years of age. Often described as fairies or demons, impersonating children to lure in sympathetic adults. Is there any truth behind this myth, and where did it originate? Part 1. The story of Brian Bethel. Journalist Brian Bethel of Albine, Texas, is often credited as being the first person to post an online account of the Black-Eyed Children. It all began back in 1996. From his account, Bethel was sitting in his car, writing out a check he intended to drop off at the nearby office. Out of the darkness, he was startled by the sound of knocking on his window. And when he looked up to see the unassuming figures of two children, only to be overcome by a certain jolt of fear. After all, they were just children. But something was wrong with them. He just couldn't figure it out. He knew deep down inside they were off. In response, he had cracked his window just enough to talk to them. The oldest of the two boys did all the talking and in turn asked for a ride to their mother's house. He claimed they were going to see a movie and forgot all their money and needed a ride so they could make it back in time for the movie. The movie theater was close enough so that Bethel could read the marquee, and thus asked what movie they were going to see. Mortal Kombat was their reply, but he knew that movie had started over an hour ago. There was just something wrong with this pair. The way they spoke was almost in an unnatural tone. In a dark, almost sinister way, the oldest of the boy did all the talking, saying, "Just let us in. We'll be gone before you know it. We'll go back to our mother's house." Everything the older boy said sent shivers down Bethel's spine. Looking up to address the boys, and then he saw it. Both had pitch black, soulless eyes, devoid of any color. At this point, the boys knew that Bethel was afraid, so they started to try to reassure him. "Come on, mister. We won't hurt you. You have to let us in. We don't have a gun." But the more he spoke, the more terrified Bethel got, like he had this deep, primal fear that he was going to die. And the more he stared at the children, the closer his hand got to unlock the door, almost like he was being hypnotized to let them in, before long breaking this trance, before throwing it in reverse, backing out of the parking lot just to give a quick glance at where the children had been, to see nothing, like they had vanished from this earth.